Today, I'm joined by Matt Dorman, president and co-founder of Ndevr. Matt has spent decades building and scaling high-traffic digital platforms, working closely with leadership teams to solve complex technical and operational challenges. In this conversation, we talk about his journey, lessons from building Ndevr, and the leadership skills that matter most as companies grow. Without further ado, let's get to the episode.
Hello.
Welcome. And so I'll just kick it off. The first question is, for those of who may not know you, can you share who you are and what you do?
Yeah. I'm, as some know or some don't, I'm a father of two sons. That's primarily what and a husband. My two sons are actually adult sons now. So it's a bit of a change the last few weeks. Now over 18. I live in Denver, Colorado. And co-founded Ndevr with you, my partner, co-partner, and we work on it every day.
What leads you to co-found Ndevr, and how did your journey bring you here?
I've been so Ndevr, we do digital media projects primarily on the technology side of things. I've been a programmer developer really all my career since the mid late 90s, and I've grown my career in New York. Ended it also well ended my time in New York my last company, and really decided that rather than working on big projects or whatever for a big company, I decided I was going to do some freelance, and that quickly turned into within weeks having too much work at the time and needing to pull in partners. And we started talking about what that could mean as a company, and decided we all had the same kind of goal of not really wanting to do everything okay. We wanted to do what we know, which is technology and development, really to the best of our abilities, and kind of grow a company around that. And that's how Ndevr founded, and it's been able to run that way for 10 and a half years, pretty well.
Yeah. Wow. So 10 and a half years. I mean, when we said that it's going to be 10 years, we're like, oh my gosh. But now
Yeah,
it's
we
10
thought,
and
yeah, 5 and out. I'll
a
do
half.
5 more years of this, and then I'm out. That was 2 times 5 more years ago.
Yeah. What is the one challenge leaders commonly face as their companies scale, and how have you approached it?
I've I mean, I get to talk to other agency owners and other kind of owners of companies a lot, and I think not majority, but a lot of times people come up to, we talk about, oh, how do you scale? How do you get to the next financial level? Like those are all known things that people talk about a lot. But I think what no one really talks about, but is actually widespread's a weird word, but like among agency owners or company owners is that um, knowing what you like, doing the things you want to do, and maintaining a company around what you, not your abilities, but the things that you actually want to do as a kind of an owner. And that might be like, for me, I don't want to own and be in charge of a lot of people, let's say. Like that's not an ego boost. I want to run big projects, really good companies, work with big companies that do that, but I don't really want to do that myself. I don't want to have a big team underneath me necessarily. So it's always keeping like a smaller, leaner scale company is important to me, and also challenging to be able to do that while scaling a company to the point where you're stable.
Why don't we talk about who Ndevr is? Because introduce Ndevr and why are we unique?
Yeah, I think, as with a lot of companies that have been around for 10 years, let's say, right? You tend to, a lot of companies tend to like form and mold themselves around what kind of other companies kind of tell them to be, or other places, other coaches and things like that tell them they need to be to grow. I think we've never really done that. As so like I said beginning, we want to be technology focused. We want to solve problems that are around technology, by building sites that are not just purely technology. They're obviously consumer facing and things like that. So being able to staying in our lane really well, has definitely differentiated us, because we're not a dev shop. Like we don't just get handed stuff and then build it and hand it back. We're actually integrated with an entire ecosystem of projects. Um, so I think describing Ndevr to certain people is like, depending on their level of interest in the web, like we build websites. We kind of do, but we're building the tools and things from the back end that integrate and make editorial teams be able to create their things really well, make sure the front end is really performant, building out obviously development tools that help development teams or even teams that without a developer at all be able to build on the other two pillars really well.
The next question is about community because you mentioned before about you talk to a lot of other agency owners and business leaders, and you're part of several business leadership leader masterminds, and you have and then currently are. How
Right.
have this those communities shaped your thinking or growth?
Those the communities I'm a part of, and there's a lot of different ones where company owners, agency owners are a part of, and they're really kind of authentic, which are the ones I feel like I'm a part of, where agency owners really share the true challenges and not just how fast, like I mentioned before, how fast people are growing, right? People get you an idea that it's really important to grow really fast, really, every year. It's like, well, that's not the reality of most companies. You're going to grow and then you're going to shrink, and then you're going to be stagnant, and then you're going to grow again. And hearing that from other agency owners within the industries that we actually work, has really been nice to kind of bounce ideas back and forth, but also get an understanding that just because we're having a bad year, maybe everyone else isn't, and it's because we're doing the wrong, or we're not doing it the right way, maybe, or
Got it.
everyone's having a really bad year, and we just need to be able to get ready for when things are going to change, turn around. The two that I'm a part of really are about sharing that kind of information and data and struggles more than anything, and some of the wins, but it's more about the struggles and how we're all growing as agencies. Because it's the like building websites. I have kind of a jaded view, right? I've been doing it for almost 30 years, or right at 30 years. It's kind of the same thing. Like we're building code wise, we're kind of doing the same thing, in my opinion. But the audience has changed quite a bit, even though they're still kind of consuming off of a screen. Used to be
Yeah.
big screens, now it's little screens. Now it's like screens inside of an AI screen type of thing. But it's still the same idea. They're consuming content in some way or consuming product data. But the way so it's somewhat different. But the way that we've actually built those systems to deploy it or deliver it is kind of the same. Um, Kind of went in circles there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree because like these communities are very important. You get inspired a lot, but at the same time, you're doing the what's a good word for it? Like you're competing with a good mind to it. And also you're getting information. And also these people probably had the similar issues or challenges they went over
Right.
and they had to overcome throughout the years. And the communities I've been belong to, the ones I really liked are the when people are very like you said before, authentic. What it's sharing the truth experience without trying to be like one up each other. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So those I think that but at the same time, you naturally you want to one up each other, but that without having a bad um side effect to it. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a
I think also we've been really kind of lucky in the sense that you and I have both worked in open source for quite a while, and the agencies that work in open source are different than a lot of the closed source, even
yeah.
SaaS kind of agencies that don't don't communicate to each other at all, don't collaborate because their people aren't collaborating on open source projects or like community code and things like that, or going to community events.
Mhm.
Like they're not really interacting ever, so they're like it's almost like the social media version of, like, people attack people on social media, same
Yeah.
kind of thing within companies, but the open source community companies are, like, we're all friendly, like, we're at events and at different conferences, we're very much competitive, we're trying to get deals, sometimes the same deals, but, we're not, like, bad-mouthing or trying to hide things from our competitors, we're actually kind of trying to grow the whole community ecosystem, I feel like. So, these
Yeah.
other ones, like finding those are very important to me that like these companies don't do open source only,
Right.
um, but having the same kind of ideals is important.
Right. I mean, the people who wants to grow together instead of trying to show the shiny part of your
Yeah.
end results and then kind of cover all the challenges and the the background. Like, so I've seen those groups too, and then that was immediately not want to stay in that group. But yeah, so it's actually very important to be an authentic group that where everyone wants to grow together.
Right.
Uh, this will be the one question that I want to ask everyone is that what is a one skill you believe is absolutely essential for business owners or leaders today?
I think I think the ability to really look at yourself, I touched on it a little bit, but look at yourself and self-evaluate, self kind of grade yourself a bit, but also being able to know that doing that only, like doing that on its own is never going to have like create great results. You're always going to have self-doubt. You're always going to kind of question yourself. And until you start to look at other and have communication with other like, maybe they're competitors, maybe they're, you know, partner companies and getting that feedback from those other ones about like you as a leader
Mhm.
or you as like a company leader is really how you're going to get the growth that you need to get to the next level. Because if you only listen to yourself, it's always going to be that you're never doing the right thing, you're never doing good enough because you're looking around and all these companies are growing at 10x, but you look 5 years down the road and they're still doing the same projects. It's like, well, you clearly didn't double or whatever,
Right.
right? Every year if you're doing the same stuff I'm doing. Uh, so yeah.
Okay. That's good. Where can people learn more about you and your work? And is there anything you want to promote?
The easiest place to find me individually would be on LinkedIn. You can find me and then through the company at LinkedIn, but going to Ndevr.io, going to the website. I do write blog posts. I do write quite a bit on LinkedIn on my ideas around like project management in general, ranting about the ecosystem. The one thing we're pitching quite a bit is we kind of talk about platforms and how to evaluate your own platform. And by platform, I mean maybe it's your website, maybe it's your website and social media and your LinkedIn profile and all the things. Like that's a platform, your e-commerce platform type thing. So evaluating that, is it you're going doing well? Do you need to restructure things? Do you need to re-platform? Bigger words for doing mass migrations. Um, that's a tool that we have on the website quite a bit.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time.